Hello, my name is John Bannon. I'm an attorney and philosopher. In today's video, I'm going to explain that superdeterminism destroys Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel. This is going to be about what they didn't teach you in college philosophy class about the philosophy of Hegel. When I discuss superdeterminism, I'm referring to a unique version of superdeterminism proven by Swedish theoretical physicist Dr. Johan Hansen in 2020. You can find his proof in the peer-reviewed physics journal, Physics Essays, volume 33, number 2, June of 2020. It begins on page 216 and ends on page 218. It's entitled Bell's Theorem and Its Tests, Proof that Nature is Superdeterministic, Not Random. Dr. Hansen's unique version of superdeterminism says that we live in a static block universe without physical causation or cause and effect in physics or probabilistic causation. I've listed 5 points of Hegel's philosophy, and I'm going to go through these points and show you how superdeterminism disproves them and hence destroys Hegel. So, starting with number 5, Hegel's uh, philosophy included a process that begins with a thesis creating tension with an antithesis. And this tension leads to a new higher synthesis. But there can't be such a dynamic process of becoming from thesis and antithesis to a synthesis because there's no cause and effect in physics under superdeterminism. So there's no causal process, there's no product of the tension between a thesis and an antithesis that could result in a synthesis. Number 4, Hegel said that objective morality is based on reason. However, under superdeterminism, our entire block universe, past, present, and future, are equally real. They all exist. You can't change it without cause and effect in physics. It was created simultaneously as a whole block outside of space time by God. And God predetermined everything that appears in our block universe, every event, which includes every human thought and human thought on religion. So, because of superdeterminism, our universe was atemporally created with religions already included within it, which means that because God predetermined the universe, then God is the one who made Christianity the predominant world religion in terms of numbers of members. This means that one can reasonably infer that because Christianity is predetermined to be predominant, then God intended Christian morals to be our objective morals. Consequently, objective morality is not based on reason or ethics. Objective morality under superdeterminism, one can reasonably infer, is based on Christian teaching. And Christian teaching, uh, in terms of morals, is primarily based on mercy and love, not reasoning. Now, that's not to say there is no reasoning in Christian morals. There certainly is. But it is predominantly a mercy and love based morality, not an objective morality based on reasoning or ethics. Number three, Hegel believed that meaning in life is the attainment of the consciousness of freedom. Well, this is totally wrong. Under superdeterminism, there is no free will on earth. So the meaning of life cannot be awareness of freedom that doesn't exist on earth. The reason there's no free will on earth under superdeterminism is because any decision that you think you freely made could only really be free if it could change the future. But under superdeterminism, the future already exists in the block universe, and it cannot be changed without cause and effect in physics. You cannot change the predetermined future with your decisions and your actions. Therefore, you cannot have free will under superdeterminism. Now, I say this, but under superdeterminism, there is an alternate idea called cinematism. Uh, Cinematism is a reformulation of free will, which says that God uses his metaphysical hypothetical knowledge of our freely willed decisions in all situations and circumstances and exhibits that knowledge in our universe when he predetermines what it is that we decide and do. So even though your decision making on earth does not have free will, one can reasonably infer that your decision is based on what God already knew you would freely choose before the universe was created through his omniscience. So you still have a form of free will under superdeterminism. It's just one level up. Instead of free will on earth, it's actually the free will known to God metaphysically, which is then exhibited in a predetermined superdeterministic universe on earth. The net result is exactly the same thing. It's just a different way of thinking about free will. So there's no actual free will on earth that you could attain. And second, meaning in life under superdeterminism cannot be a potential. It has to be something that every living being has. Because in a superdeterministic universe, you have a block life, which means every moment of your life from birth to death still exists in the block universe, in the static block universe. That's what I call a block life. So in order to say, such and such is a universal meaning in life, for predetermined living beings who have a unchangeable block life, well, whatever the meaning is, it has to be in that block life, which means you can't tell a living being that your meaning in life is some potential when that potential does not exist in their block life. It's an impossibility that it would ever exist. So how could that ever be that being's meaning? It can't be. So the meaning in life under superdeterminism is simply your predetermined block life. Whatever that is, your meaning in life has to be in that. That's what your meaning in life is. It's the role your block life plays in God's predetermined plan for the universe and human history. It can't be anything that's a potential. So the idea of obtaining awareness of freedom is a potential. So that cannot be the meaning of life under superdeterminism. All right, number two, God is the self consciousness of the universe itself. So Hegel's claiming that the universe uh, is self conscious or self aware. This is a form of universal consciousness. However, that is completely false under superdeterminism. Now, under superdeterminism, because all of your actions are predetermined and they already exist in the block universe and you cannot change them. If you decided, for instance, to think about, I'm going to move my arm, that arm movement has to be predetermined and existing in the static block universe. But if the arm movement is predetermined, then your thought to move your arm must also be predetermined in order for your arm movement to be predetermined, which means that your thought itself has to be predetermined, which means consciousness has to be a predetermined aspect of the block universe. Now, the only thing in our brain is brain particles. So, the only thing that's part of the universe that's inside our brain are brain particles, which means that brain particles must be responsible for consciousness. Um, well, that means that if you want a conscious universe, then you need to show me where all the brains are in the universe. If you look out in the universe, you don't see neural networks like brains. In fact, conscious brains only exist on the surface of the planet Earth. They're not on the moon, and they're not anywhere else that you look in the universe. So, without the organization of brain particles, you can't have consciousness in the universe. So, in order for the universe to be conscious, there needs to be particle arrangements in the universe that exhibit the same sort of arrangements that you might find in a human brain. And we simply do not see that in the universe. So clearly, the universe is not conscious under superdeterminism. And that means God cannot be the self consciousness of the universe itself. Now, God has supreme intelligence, but that is a result of logical necessity due to the fact that he can create physical reality outside of space time. And therefore, he must know of and understand what it is he's creating before he creates it. But God is not a physical reality. So that's a very different sort of intelligence than human intelligence or a supposed universal intelligence or consciousness. Okay, number one, the universe is a dynamic reality where spirit moves through time to achieve self consciousness. So Hegel's whole idea is that there's this process in reality which is leading to the ultimate goal of the self consciousness of the universe itself. However, that cannot possibly be true under superdeterminism. And the reason is that there is no moving dynamic time without cause and effect in physics. So you can't have moving time if something cannot cause something else to move because there's no cause and effect in physics. So we live in a static block universe. So it's three dimensions of space and one dimension of time, but it's all static. It never moves. So without moving time or movement, then you can't possibly have moving dynamic time. And you can't possibly have this dynamic process of the universe moving through time towards a state of self consciousness. It's an impossibility without physical causation. Um, there you go. So Hegel was absolutely wrong, and superdeterminism proves it. Now, I'll give you a second to read the board. All right, until next time, take care.